When you think big picture about creating wealth, it is not all about the money, but more about creating the wealthy habits that you'll have for the rest of your life. Now, of course, this means living within your means, saving money, investing on a regular basis, sleeping well, also being very healthy. And of course, money doesn't come overnight. When you look at the S&P 500, when you look at the stock market, it is a long-term game and wealth is created over a long term. A lot of people that run into money, let's say you hit the lotto, most of them are broke within a year or two, which goes very, very fast to say. Without mindful money habits, you are not going to be able to really not only generate wealth, but also being able to create generational wealth and have wealth for pretty much the rest of your life, your kids and your grandkids' life. In today's video, we're going to be looking at 8 money mindful management tips to really cover, with starting with number 1, understanding your net worth. Now, this of course is something that Dave Ramsey really focused on, but knowing your net worth is very easy to create and very easy to understand. It is really your total assets. So when we break up the asset classification, it can be a home, it can be a car if you don't have a loan on it, or having whatever value you have in there. The money you have in a bank account, the money that essentially everything is worth in your life, in your entirety, that has a value. This could include your IRAs, your HSAs, your 401ks. Now, a lot of this kind of led to a modern day millionaire. Now, I know that is a concept or probably a coin phrase that you've heard a couple times, but that means that your net worth is north of $1 million. But that your assets is not just the only part of the net worth. You have to minus your liabilities. That is really the big point, guys, is understanding and knowing your net worth is going to be huge. So your assets minus your liabilities will give you your net worth. So if you have an $800,000 house and you owe $500,000 on it, boom, right there, you have a pretty positive net worth of that $300,000. Now that of course can go in the net worth calculator. You can put it in there with, again, your 401ks, your HSAs, anything that you have that is liquid assets as well. Making sure you keep progression and you keep score as you go can keep you really in tune with money management and understanding exactly where the value is. Now, number 2, setting clear financial goals. This is one that I absolutely love, guys. When you have financial goals, you know what you're striving for. You know what you're saving for. If you're looking to save like I do and investing $1,000 a week, it is really something that I put into my budget. I made it very reasonable on a weekly basis based on my budget, based on exactly where we are. It is one of my financial goals to invest $52,000 in a week, or excuse me, in the entire year, meaning $1,000 a week. I really broke it down, and you could do the exact same. Might not be $52,000 a year depending on your budget, but if it's saving $100 a month and you want to save, you know what, $1,200 by the end of the year, breaking it down even further than that, let's say you get paid every 2 weeks, 26 pay periods in a year. What do you have to mathematically break it down to achieve and exceed that goal is crucial. When it comes to money management, it is super important, guys, to really break that down. Number 3, plan for the best and be prepared for the worst. This is where the emergency fund comes in. If you're saving for a house, if you're saving for retirement, if you're saving for a child's education, a vacation you've always wanted to do, making sure that you are not only planning and those objects are in your budget, you're saving towards those, because they are, a lot of them are going to be the big picture plans. Again, saving for a house, retirement, things of that nature, but you have to have an emergency fund. It is really the by far number 1. And as a financial counselor, the emergency fund is huge, guys. It takes the reliance off of credit cards and it takes the reliance off borrowing and utilizing debt to actually cover expenses. This is the reason, in a combination of having that emergency fund, having a debt repayment plan, and also having clear financial goals will be perfect, and your money management skills work in harmony. Looking at number 4, the budget or the spending plan, whatever you want to call it, but overall budgeting and tracking your spending. There's a ton of different apps. I know, I believe Rocket Mortgage has one, Rocket Money. Dave Ramsey has the Every Dollar app. There's a lot of different ways that you can do this. Personally, I write it down. It is really something different mentally. It's kind of a mental shift almost that I have when I'm writing out my budget and seeing the actual numbers, writing down, using a pen and, a pen or a pencil, erasing where I need to, getting all the figures to work, and making sure that I have enough, not only budgeting going forward, but making sure I know exactly where every dollar goes. Now, of course, with me, if you've seen any of the videos, I do zero-based budgeting, meaning at the end of the month, we are at zero. That's right down to every single penny. But what that means is I'm putting extra money into other places. Now, some of these other places, I might put more money into my HSA just based on the zero-based budgeting. I could also put additional contributions into my savings account, additional contributions into the brokerage account. There's a bunch of different levers within that budget that you can kind of pull or really ease up on depending on your financial goals and exactly what you want to do. Now, number 5, most important, paying yourself first. That is it, guys. Savings and investing is a learned skill. It is a commitment. It is a discipline. It is something that individuals need to be taught very, very young. Now, for a majority of people, your teen years go by, your 20s go by, your 30s go by. When you get about 35 is when a majority of people actually start planning or start thinking, having a real career, having the debt repayment. But that is when a majority of people have already lost a ton of the compounding interest that we could see from investing. If you start early, if you're starting with your first job and you're putting 15% into that 401k or 15% into that Roth IRA, then when you go to your next job, when you get a raise, when you get a promotion, you're keeping it at 15%. If you start that, let's say when you're 16 to 18, then you're going all the way to 25 to 35. Again, as you continue to get, a new job, you're finished with school, you get a promotion, you get a raise, you get a bonus, keeping that baseline 15% will make you a millionaire guaranteed as long as you're gainfully employed by the time you reach retirement age. Even some of them statistics, again, depending on your job, they're talking $3, $4, $5 million in a retirement plan if you really stick the game out and really almost 50 years of investing. Kind of crazy to think, but it does work. Now, number 6, saving when you're young goes right in hand with paying yourself first. Let the power of compounding interest be your absolute best friend. This is the way that you can be a millionaire, a multimillionaire, even thinking of, individuals like Warren Buffett. Majority of money was made, I believe, and again, just kind of thinking about this, after he was 60 years old. Because when the compounding starts snowballing the first 10, 15, 20 years, you get some pretty good compounding. When you get 20 to 30, you see some exceptional compounding. When you get 30 to 40 years, so let's say again, you start investing at 20, now you're looking at compounding when you're 60. The compounding in there is astronomical year over year over year, where you can even take some money out of it to cover a majority of expenses. You're not even going to see it, guys. This snowball is rolling. It is so big. It is so massive. It is going downhill so fast and picking up speed that the compounding won't even make a big difference when it comes to taking some out of there when you're at retirement age and ultimately getting that snowball going so large that it is going to cover your kids and your grandchildren with any expenses that they might have, creating that generational wealth. Number 7, be mindful of debt. It is really the absolute number one biggest, most powerful thing that you have is your paycheck. Money that you get, money that you can pay your bills, that you can pay back debt, that you can invest. It is really the biggest thing. When you look at high interest credit cards, it is crushing, absolutely crushing America with over $1 trillion in credit card debt. We are just kind of on the opposite side of that snowball where people are just getting run over. The interest rates continue to go up. The minimum payment continues to go up. When you take a minute, look at your credit card statement, and I really challenge you with this. Look at your credit card statement, see exactly if you're making the minimum payment, how many years it's going to take you to pay off at the current interest rate. For a majority of individuals, you're talking 15, 18, 22 years to pay off a credit card if you have even a not even a high balance. I'm talking $5,000 to $10,000. You're looking at a ton of time, a ton of interest that you will pay within that time frame. And the final one I'm going to leave you with, invest mindfully, guys. This is the biggest tool, period, for wealth creation. Even when you look at stocks, bonds, real estate, mutual funds, investing can and will grow your money over time if you're consistently putting money into the stock market. Now, one caveat to this, even though I'm not a financial advisor, I do not buy individual stocks. I do not play that game. I do not buy individual stocks at all. I think it is a very, very difficult avenue that you're going through. If you're cherry picking stocks or picking specific stocks that you're in, that is the reason why through M1 Finance, which we have a link down below, I do everything on ETF basis to not only mitigate everything that I have in my investment portfolio. Makes a really big difference when wealth creation. And honestly, guys, we are 2 years and I believe 3 months, about 2 years, 3 months into our investment portfolio. we're up roughly 51% through dollar cost averaging, which is kind of crazy to have a 51% return over 2 years, which I mean, even annualized, roughly 25% return. I know 2022 was difficult, 23 was amazing. Dollar cost averaging worked incredibly well for me, making me really a very mindful money manager, and also investing in those ETFs makes a big difference. All right, guys, so that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and as always, thank you guys for watching.